The birth of the Capsuleer. A sacred act. Immutable and profound. Mind and machine merged. Flesh fused with power beyond mortal limits. United with destiny, a ship and its heart. They are one. Of life in an uncharted void. A galaxy where power and wealth spur humankind. Where four great empires seed the fractured renaissance of man. Wielding vast fleets, they carve their ideologies into the stars. The heroism and treachery of Capsuleers is woven into the fabric of New Eden. A story of industry, exploration, and conquest. However you choose to forge your destiny, do so with heart. New Eden is yours to shape. This is where your legend begins.
And what a legend it can be. Hello, I play Eve as Makoto Priano, Coordinator Emeritus for a little group called the Arataka Research Consortium. We explore the world of Eve and try to push a little deeper into its mysteries. Today, I thought I'd share this world and some of its legends with you, with a little bit of help from CCP. Eve often catches the news for warfare, for intrigue, and the cold vastness of space would seem lonely, but for this all to happen, there must first be community, whether it's building organizations for industrial purposes, or military, or research. Ultimately, in all these cases, we're building relationships. And it's one of those very silly Eve lines that's still quite true, that the best ship is friendship, and it's what keeps us flying together. We begin today in Lengisi at the monument to Project Discovery, Phase 1, where 100,000 pilots contributed 25 million cell classifications to the Human Protein Atlas, proving, of course, that we most certainly do know about the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Phase 2 is identifying exoplanets via suspected transit events. Again, quite the undertaking, with pilots able to advance real-world science in a meaningful way. Before we set off, I want to thank each and every one of you for staying safe, staying isolated, and also for giving what you're able to help those in need. Your donations will help the Children's Society frontline staff deliver vital care packages, provide urgent support and advice, and arrange an emergency response for children in imminent danger that could save their lives. This is, in a very real way, a challenging time in ways that I don't think any of us could quite anticipate. But we're in this together, and when the world is a little bit more normal, we'll see each other's smiling faces again. For now, I thank you, and let's be underway. Our first destination is the Eve Gate, which in a very real way is the beginning of the world of Eve. It's where colonization of the cluster started. And on the far side of that gate would be the world of Old Earth, where humanity had conquered the stars and expanded as far as it could. The discovery of this wormhole opened new frontiers and new worlds and the universe of New Eden, until, after colonization had begun, the gate collapsed, and in a very real way, humanity with it. Humanity, though, rose again from the ashes of the old to form new ways of life, new empires. And this wormhole remained, mostly collapsed, but still a storm in space, a place of mysteries, legends, and ultimately prophecy, where pilots would visit in a real way for a pilgrimage. Whether young or old, often we end up wondering what's beyond this gate, if anything, as the origins of humanity in this world are lost to the mists of time. The Eve Gate is now viewed as almost a natural wonder. We match those natural wonders, though, with man-made wonders. We visit now Titanomachy, the monument to the Battle of B-TAC-R in null security space, and it might just happen to be that I'll have to cloak up here because this is perhaps a little bit dangerous a place to stay uncloaked for too long. The Battle of B-TAC-R, though, involved approximately 7,500 pilots spread over multiple star systems, engaging in a days-long battle that saw the death of dozens of supercapitals, hundreds of capital ships. It's a legendary story caused by, of all things, a single missed bill, an emergent conflict, by very definition, an unplanned turning point in an ongoing war that escalated far out of scale. This isn't just a mausoleum, however. It isn't just a monument to war and the unexpected. For something to be torn down, it must also be built. And in a very real way, a Titan, each individual one, represents the thousands of combined hours of work by dozens, if not hundreds of pilots. And while industry has developed over time, these remain monuments to the shared dreams of pilots and of corporations and their constructive focus. In a very real way, a dream is given value in this case by its impermanence. Of course, Titans are even more impressive intact. We arrive now in the Throne World, the center of the Amar Empire, a gold-clad religious empire seeking to unify humanity in faith. Admittedly, its faith, which is an age-old story unto itself. The site we are visiting is that of the honor guard of Empress Khatiz, which stands vigil and has stood vigil since her coronation and ascension as a new empress, and indeed as a divine figure. This new empress was decided in a series of succession trials, an ancient Amar tradition of gladiatorial combat where small teams of champions vied on behalf of their chosen heirs to the throne. And these heirs were drawn from the royal families of the Amar that rule over its feudal domains. In a very real way, the skill of these small teams of pilots decided this historic moment, and decided indeed for the entirety of the world of New Eden, as it's a single shard world. I was there to see the final trial, and I've got to say, it was quite a show. It was just remarkable to see the skill of these pilots demonstrated so adroitly. These trials, in a way, highlight the capability and skill of small gang fighters and the adaptability of elite pilots. What's more, the precision of these tight-knit teams. Often these pilots have been flying together for years, and their capability together, their adaptability, as said, is quite remarkable. It's an excellent demonstration of what we see in many small gang fights, where individual piloting really matters. It was a suitably impressive display, and as a singular, world-changing event, merited an appropriately impressive monument. And we now arrive in Jeddah, in the Caldari state, on the other side of secure space. This is, without a doubt, the beating heart of Eve's economy. At this very moment, and I checked on local, there are thousands of pilots in this system in stations, building, trading, and handling all of the logistics of their various corporations and alliances. This system is often the site of protests, of profiteers, of predators, and in a very real way, all roads lead to Jeddah. The state where we are was forged as a rejection to encroaching imperialism, formed out of hidden colonies that broke away from their parent federation by a hardy and driven people and disciplined refugees. Now, the state is organized under competing megacorporations, and in a very real way, it is more than a little bit cyberpunk. Jita's history as a trade hub is actually another case of pilots changing the world and driving the story. Multiple times, CCP has actually tried to incentivize decentralized markets, and ultimately the players have decided, time and again, that the market of choice would be here in this one system among thousands, at this one station among dozens. And JITA 4.4 is actually currently being expanded to acknowledge the decade-long resilience of this essential market hub. Even in a vast world defined by markets and military, a single person can do something remarkable. And in this case, Katya Se did such a thing with nearly a decade of exploration, starting in late 2009, ending in early 2019. Katya visited 7,806 systems, all of the systems in EVE in both known space and wormhole space. The monument you're looking at reads in part, "She exemplifies the attitude of a true explorer. Friendly to all in her travels, neutral and never initiating aggression, and very, very hard to catch." That last is a particularly noteworthy thing, as Katya never lost a single ship in a decade of flight. Players in EVE are taught that their ships are essentially ammunition. What matters is pilot skill, pilot will. The ship is expendable. And Katya never lost a single ship, which is a mind-boggling thing. In a very real way, in EVE, the accomplishments of players are celebrated, and the sandbox is such that our achievements and the things that we do are often not anticipated even by the developers, and thus they surprise everyone. Katya Se's achievement is really the ultimate expression of that, because this single player achieved something that no one even really thought of. And what's even more remarkable about it is that this is in a living, shared history in an uncharted, unique world. And thus it is a singular achievement. With all the sightseeing of lonely monuments, it's important to remember that explorers and seekers of adventure are unified, and so it is now that we join the pilots of Signal Cartel, who in Eve exemplify that idea that the best ship is friendship. These are peaceful explorers noted for their hug doctrine, where if someone seeks to wage war with them, they greet them with fireworks and electronic countermeasures, and also for their search and rescue division, which maintains thousands of rescue equipment caches and has completed over 1,000 successful search and rescue ops. Even in a world like Eve that seems dark and lonely, where we seem so distant from each other, we forge powerful bonds of friendship. We do great things, sometimes fantastic things, and it's honestly all the better when we do them together. So with that, I'm going to leave you to the fireworks show, and I'm going to thank you for letting me show you around a little bit. And again, I'm going to ask you for a favor, that is that you donate what you're able. And remember that all your donations will help the Children's Society, frontline staff deliver vital care packages, provide urgent support and advice, and arrange an emergency response for children in imminent danger, and that this could indeed save lives. The link to donate is below. This is, again, Makoto Priano with the Arataka Research Consortium, and I hope I'll see you in space.
Hello, space friends. How are you enjoying the fireworks display?
It's a good one, but gotta say that Signal Cartel can always bring the fireworks.
And big thank you to Signal Cartel for coming out and bringing some fireworks for us to enjoy to cap off the stream. Oh yeah. The stream started a little bit earlier than originally planned because of an issue with the scheduling for those other guys. So we picked up the bat phone, and Torvald Urs jumped straight on and helped plug the hole. So he did the whole YANA stream a real solid by doing that. So if you ever hear this one day, Torv, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate that. I owe you a beer. Rages is asking about any news for future streams. Yes, we've got other streams planned. There won't be one tomorrow night. There won't be a Sunday night stream because, well, we kind of worked really hard to sort of get this into shape in time for the YANA stream. But we've probably got maybe 2 or 3 other really good ideas. Well, I think really good ideas for future streams that we can be doing on Sunday nights. We normally announce the streams will be happening on a Friday, because it takes a little while to sort of get all of our ducks in a row and make sure we can actually do it, and availability of the guests that we want to have, and get all the resources together to produce the stream. So to answer your question, yes, there will be more Sunday night streams. There won't be one this Sunday night, and I can't commit to one next Sunday night either. But you'll be finding out usually through the Eve launcher in a news item and me tweeting about it on Fridays if we are going to do another stream that Sunday. Oh, yeah. In case you didn't know, guys, next Wednesday, Eve turns 17 years old. The servers were first turned on the 6th of May, 2003. So Wednesday is our 17th birthday, and you're going to be hearing from Hilmar about the past, present, and future of EVE Online. Should be a really, really cool stream. More details about that will be released. CCP Fleabig, so we're doing streams on Wednesdays now as well. Oh my god, that's so much content.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah, I thought it went around. This kind of sounds a little bit like some of the old battle music when you used to go into mission sites. In the Nestor. Is that eye gaze? I think he's the only Nestor on the...
I'll admit I dropped a small gift that's disappeared into... Oh wait, no, it's still out there.
And see how tightly I can orbit that Nestor in this thing. Oh man, he's moving fast. Fene Kun says, make it so that during the anniversary and other events, we sell skins from past events. Well, I don't know. Maybe that could be a thing. I'm not sure. We have to talk about it. Some people who got skins exclusively might have something to say.
I might have some shirts that are worth way too much because they haven't appeared in game in about, a decade since their original introduction.
Oh, really? You're going to open like a clothing shop or something for New Eden? You could corner them up.
I mean, exclusive clothing is certainly a valuable commodity, I suppose, but
We've got Sviples and Algosses and catalysts. Oh, no, it's okay. They're good catalysts.
And some griffins, which, if I recall correctly, Hug's doctrine relies on griffins for jamming and fireworks. Is the Hug's doctrine still active? That's the question I have.
Signal Cartel and Twitch chat can answer that. My main player character, is 16 years old as well. I wonder if I'm older than Maint. Yeah, my birthday in EVE Online was the 14th of April 2004. Oh, Maint is April as well. Okay, so now it comes down to the day. What day, Maint?
Wonderful fireworks display, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say, Signaliers continue to impress with their generally upbeat nature, their friendliness, and with their dedication to the craft.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy who's all like, look at me, look at me, look at me. But Fleabix should have a look at me, because there seems to be a high concentration of explosions in my vicinity.
In such a pretty ship, I can't imagine why.
Oh, the UI, yeah. Ironbank, that's an old character, man. Yep, 2nd of January 2004. No. Yep, we got a 2003. On the 26th of December, Ilmidis decided after Christmas, day after Christmas, it's time to give himself a present. I'm going to create an account on EVE Online. I'm still waiting to hear back from Mate to find out what day his character was. See if he's got me or not. Right. Your first encounter with the company. Yeah. CCP, I think it was over. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was CCP Ovier. I think he works at Jagex now on RuneScape.
Yeah.
Makoto, did you see that question for you in Twitch chat? Yeah, Signal Cartel are really turning it on. A VOD of some cool fireworks.
So I've got to say that Granny's question about hulls from the sleepers and drifters, yeah, I can endorse that. Not that I'm a CCPer by any long shot, but hey Bam, and hey Ali, can you throw that up the chain?
Delete some stuff. No? What was it? Sorry, I was encouraged to do it.
Precursor hulls, come on now. We want drifter ships to pilot them. They're very pretty.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I think I know exactly the person who would love to work on them.
Ooh, Triglavian Marauder would be cool. We do have some exciting new ships in store for you in this quadrant. You guys would have seen a teaser in the Eclipse trailer that came out. I know there's been a lot of speculation about those ships and exactly what they are and how they work. Hopefully we get to get them into your hands in the not too distant future. Give you some new toys to play.
So, CCP Convict, I notice one thing, which is that you say ships plural.
A mere slip of the tongue.
Ah. Good to know. Are they all Upwell ships?
These questions stop now. Guys, like knock over the glass of water on the podium and then like charge off the stage. No more questions.
Yeah, sorry. It's one of those
it's okay,
things I love doing, asking pointed questions of CCPers, and unfortunately, situation being as it is, I can't get you all riotously drunk in Reykjavik. But
yeah, fine. You're right. But the thing is, like, I'm always like super paranoid about this stuff because, like, I'm a talker, man. Like, I'm super bad at, keeping secrets and stuff. So I just try to usually avoid discussing these things at all when possible. I've already broken my own rule.
Oh, don't worry. We won't tell anyone.
It's just the three of us and the 260 people watching the stream.
Exactly. So there was a question, though, which is sort of a general one from Rajas. I've been living in wormhole space a long time, but what's the deal with sleepers? Is it cool with you two if I answer some lore questions?
Be my guest.
So what's the deal with sleepers is a pretty broad one because in a very real way, CCP hasn't definitively said, even though there is a fairly major indication that the sleepers, being a subset of the stasis people of the Jove, began colonizing wormhole space as we know it well before the history of New Eden, such as we know it, and indeed possibly as early back as the First Empire Jove. They are thus a Jovian people, if ones that decided that they wanted to live in simulation. And what's curious, though, is that the history of the sleepers is inextricably linked with their caretakers. The caretakers, this is where we start getting into tinfoil territory. The caretakers are Jovian linked in some capacity, but may be distinct from what we think of as Jovian. And where we get to tinfoil territory is this question of like, okay, are the Talakan, are the Taliesin the caretakers? Or was it some other group that we simply don't see any evidence of? My current view is that the caretakers were indeed the Taliesin, and that they fled the Second Empire Jove, the tyrants, during the collapse of the Second Jovian Empire, and that those refugees became those we now know as the Triglavians. Of course, there are a lot of theories on this. Uriel Paradisi Antiovnece has a lot of theories also, and we just sort of have data points, so sort of a connect the dots view of history. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to figure it out a bit more definitively, but that's my guess on the caretakers. And the sleepers, meanwhile, have just sort of been left to, I don't want to say necessarily to rot, but have just sort of been moldering in cryostasis, living in simulation. And we could get into a long discussion of how the drifters relate to them, but that I think suffices for initial answer to your question.
And thank you, LG Bob. I'm glad we're doing EVE Online too.
Yeah. There are some interesting thematic elements that popped up some years ago with regard to the Sleepers Awakening, and I want to say that's the Emergent Threats trailer. So definitely do check it out, and I'm going to link it in Twitch chat for all of you. And Stargazer has it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here.
Yeah. Just thanks for coming out, watching the stream, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content that we provided. I hope that if you're watching on the 10 Million Gamers stream who are hosting us, that you saw they're collecting donations for charity for the Children's Society. I put a link in Twitch chat if you're inclined to make a donation. CTB Fleabix has already said it. Thanks for coming out to watch. Thanks Signal Cartel for the light show. Thanks Torvald for carrying us early on the stream, and thank you to Makoto Priano for coming along and working with us, because this actually took a couple of days to put together, and he worked really hard to try and get the script and get everything flowing really well. So thanks, dudes, and I'm gonna hit the sack now and enjoy a Sunday without a stream. I might play some EVE Online. Sure, why not?
Fly safe.